Hello, everybody, and welcome to Is It Kino? I am your host, Mumkey Jones.
And I am E-Rich.
And today we watched a little film I like to call Kingman, the Golden Circle. Hey.
The pi r squared AU.
AU, yeah, AU.
Yeah, yeah.
So, E-Rich, first I want to start this discussion off with Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
Because I've probably said this before, but I think it really needs to be evaluated. I think that Rotten Tomatoes should be a tool that you only use after you've seen a movie because
that.
it keeps ruining my perception going into a film no matter what. If the score is really high, then I'll go into the movie thinking, oh, this is going to be really good. And then if it doesn't live up to that expectation, I don't enjoy the movie as much. Or it'll be like really low. Like, like the Emoji Movie, a really good movie. Like,
Yeah.
and everybody just assumed it was bad because it had a 0% on this website,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's so many great examples of Rotten Tomatoes creating expectations before you go into the theater and then sort of ruining your potentially pure experience with this preconception. And this film, Kingsman 2, is sitting at like, what, a 48%
Oh,
right
wow.
now?
I didn't even know it was as low as 48. I thought it was in the mid-50s.
No, yeah, it's been
Shit.
dropping a lot.
Took a drop.
So what do you think about Rotten Tomatoes? Do you use it before you go to a movie?
I basically use it to just kind of see where the critical consensus is at, which is kind of what it's for. But
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes should not be used as like the score of a movie. That's not really what it means. What it means is basically like this amount of critics seem to like the movie. But the other thing is, even that fucking number of like, say a movie has 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, that doesn't even mean shit because all of the reviews could be like 6.5 out of 10s where
Yeah.
people basically are just saying it's passable. But if everybody says it's passable, it's got a fucking great score in Rotten Tomatoes. So the system does
Yeah,
not work the way you think
it seems
would.
like all of the like 95% and higher are like pretty much bland, unoffensive movies for the most part, and then
Yeah.
anything that's like edgy or try something new is going to be lower because it's going to isolate a
Turn
lot
people
of
off,
critics. Yeah, exactly. So when you have like a super fucking gory, crazy action film like Kingsman 2, you can imagine that probably about half of the the critics living in California were probably a little put off and maybe offended by some of the content.
Yeah.
So like it might be a 48 percent on Rotten Tomatoes movie, but for me, maybe those 48% of critics who liked it have the same taste as me. So like that means
Yeah.
nothing. I think you should find critics that you usually agree with and follow those in this fucking aggregate number. Who cares about people who have completely different tastes than you? That shouldn't be played into your perception of how a film is at all.
Yeah, what I can't fucking remember. What's the name of he's the black
Armand White.
Armand White. If you want to consider Armand White's opinion every single time you go to see a movie, I'd suggest using Rotten Tomatoes because
What
he's
did
in
Armand
there.
White say about the Emoji Movie? I'm guessing it was very positive.
I was gonna say he probably said it was a stirring reflection on the American psyche or some shit. I don't know half the time how he gets all the shit that he writes about the movies he does, but goddamn.
He's a hero.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Rich. Well, let's put your money where your mouth is. Do you agree with Rotten Tomatoes, the aggregate score on Kingsman 2?
You know, I just shat on Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, I agree.
Uh-oh.
I agree with the score. I did not like this movie. Ugh.
Did you like the first one?
I fucking loved the first one. This
Okay.
feels almost like a cheap knockoff, and like I could not believe that the same people who made the first Kingsman movie came back, said, let's make another one, and then gave us this. Like, I just don't understand where the disconnect
Well, let's get
happened.
into it. What were the changes or the things that were missing that really ruined it for you?
I think for me the biggest thing was, and this is a big spoiler, although they fucking give it away in the trailer, so it's not a big fucking
If
deal.
it's in the trailer, it's not a spoiler.
One of the biggest like parts of this movie is they bring the character Harry Hart from the first movie back to life. He was Eggsy, the main character's mentor in the previous movie. He basically was introducing you to this world of the Kingsmen, and at the end of that movie he was shot. He had this fucking awesome scene where he killed all of these crazy like Westboro Baptist Church type people in a huge fucking amazing gun battle, and then he just
It was
dies.
a scene that I think changed cinema for me because
definitely.
I've never had an experience like that in a theater, and I saw this at Mall. I saw the first one at Mall of America, and they have like the D box, which is, I don't know if you've been in those. It's like you pay an extra like $3, and then your chair moves along with the action
I have
in
done the
film.
D box. I
Yeah.
took the D.
Yeah, so yeah, I took that big hard D up my ass
Yeah.
while watching the fucking church scene, and
Oh my
it
God.
was so intense and fun, and like we were just in shock at what was happening on the screen. We
Yeah.
couldn't believe that they got away with doing that, and it was hysterical laughter in the best way.
Yeah, so basically you come from that. You come from killing that character in that way after he's done this huge violent thing, and then he's killed, and kind of Eggsy has to like go on his own. Like that's kind of a basic storytelling routine. You have a mentor bring a younger character in on this world, teach them
it's
all
like
the ways.
Star Wars.
Yeah, and then you kill them off because the hero can't have that mentor with them the whole fucking time. But this movie, and I think the him coming back to life, because it so completely submerges the movie into that, like it just kills the movie for me. Because not only are you bringing this character back, which I don't agree that you should do, like other than flashbacks, like I think you can do whatever the fuck you want with flashbacks, but as soon as you revive a character, like now I don't believe anybody can die, and I think they do a decent job of saying that, well, the one character is now dead in this movie, because I have no fucking idea how you bring him back. But who fucking knows? We just saw somebody get shot in the head last movie, and now he's back in this one. Like, so basically, the rules of your universe start to go out the window because of that. You've now got a mentor character who has fulfilled his role in the story coming back. They don't earn that in the movie. Like, I don't understand what his role for Eggsy, what he as a character has learned from coming back to life. I don't understand that. And then you introduce the statesmen as the way that they come back, and then for most of the movie, they are just basically there to bring him back to life. They serve no big role in the movie other than to just be this flashy thing that they introduce, but so much of the movie is invested in doing this one thing, and it's a fucking long movie too. And I just started getting like bored, and like they can throw crazy shit at me, and I'm fine with it most of the time, but if there's not enough action and not enough like smooth character work going on throughout it, I just get bored. And like and I'm not a prude or anything, but all of the ridiculous things just become, oh, that's what you're gonna do again and again and again. And so like Elton John in this movie is a joke that I think is very funny, but they just keep fucking returning to it and keep using the same kind of joke again and again and again, and it just became boring to me. Like, I was laughing throughout this movie, but it just wasn't working on me anymore. I knew what they were going to do. They were basically just going to do a repeat of the first movie in a lot of ways, which that's what sequels tend to do a lot of the time. But if you don't have that strong characterization, the second chapter of any story or whatever can be the best part of the story, but it can also be the worst if you try to retread everything and you try to just not do anything different, not push characters in new ways or directions. I was so ready coming out of the first Kingsman movie for like a whole Kingsman franchise. Like, do the fucking... these movies are basically, what if the Roger Moore Bond movies were made today and made fucking competently? And I was ready for that. And I feel like this movie, by solely focusing on let's bring Harry Hart back, but then have nothing good to do with that character, it fucking just kills it for me. Yeah. That was a rant. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's what this show is for. We rant about movies and decide if they're Kino, and then all the comments ask, what does Kino mean?
Yes. Every fucking time.
Every time.
Are those all new people? It's got to be. I wish it was just the same
idea.
people. What is Kino?
I don't know. I guess while we're saying negative things about the movie, I feel like a lot of these great actors who I was really excited for, especially after Logan Lucky, I was excited to see Channing Tatum in this movie. And he's not in the movie.
I know.
It was a lie.
He's in 5 minutes of it.
He's in it for like 5 minutes around the beginning, and then they literally put him in a cryogenic freezer for the full length of the film. And then at the end, like the final shot in the movie is him dressed as a Kingsman walking into the Kingsman shop. So I
What the
guess
fuck was up with that? Is there like an exchange program now? Like, I don't understand what that was trying to tell us.
so.
God damn
I
it.
think the idea is that the two organizations are working together now, and
Okay.
it's setting it up for a third one because there has to be a third one if that's how they're going to end the second one.
I'd like to see Channing Tatum put on a fake British accent. That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm hoping Channing Tatum, if they do a third one, has a much larger role because
Yeah.
the little bit that he was in, he was really
He was
good.
great. Yeah, all of the Statesman guys were great. Totally.
Yeah. Other problems, I don't know what they're thinking in like it's a Kingsman movie about this grand organization like a secret CIA sort of thing in the UK. But they kill every single member of the organization except for two of them. Like there is no Kingsman now. It's just
there's
these
not,
two
yeah.
guys.
You're right.
They're all fucking dead. And then also it was really strange to me that the Kingsman is like this super intelligent ops fucking group, but like they don't know that the Statesmen exist, and the Statesmen don't know that the Kingsmen exist.
Yeah,
How are these two?
that's bullshit. Like,
Yeah, there's no fucking way they wouldn't know about each other.
especially
And
when they're
that-
globetrotting. Like, if they were just
Yeah.
taking care of like incidences in their own country, I could buy that more. Like, it would still be fucking unbelievable, but I could still buy that more. But they're all going all over the fucking world.
And evidently, the Statesmen have a secret microphone in the Oval Office, but in the last movie, they didn't care when Samuel L. Jackson told the President Obama a master plan about killing everybody on Earth.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
they just, that one slipped by their fingers a little bit.
Yeah, so just their ability to go anywhere they need to go and not be locally kind of sourced doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And you've got the stuff going on in the last movie where they came and saved fucking Harry Hart out of fucking nowhere in their helicopter.
So you really think that's like breaking the rules of the universe? Because
I mean,
I
I really-
thought it was a perfectly valid explanation of how Harry would survive. I do agree it's dumb that they felt like they needed to bring him back when he served his purpose and died on screen. Like it was very shoehorned and frankly unnecessary, but they found a good excuse within the universe of the film and the rules of the film. I disagree that the rules are out the window because it's very clear. Like they have this thing that works to bring people back from headshots, and it gives them amnesia, and they do it again in the movie. So it's not like a one-time thing.
No, I
The
know.
movie
I mean-
has crazier gadgets than that. Like Harry takes out a cologne bottle and like freezes people in like a huge globby mess. Like that's almost crazier to me.
Yeah,
than,
yeah,
like,
and
a
basically
medical procedure.
what I'm talking about is less the rules of the world, because basically for the world they can write whatever the fuck they want, and like
Yeah.
the audience just kind of has to go along with it. I'm more talking about like storytelling rules, where if you kill a character off and their kind of role in the story has finished, you just don't bring them back. It seems to me more like when they went to do another Kingsman movie, they were like, what worked in the first one? And they said, everybody loved Colin Firth. Like, Colin Firth,
True.
you don't expect him to be this big action badass dude, and people love it when he's kicking ass. And they just said, well, if we're going to make another one, we have to bring him back to life. So I dislike that rule breaking for me, rather than the, like, they can write whatever they want to bring him back to life. But when you start talking about amnesia and stuff like that, I just go like, oh, okay. I see what you're
Yeah,
doing.
now
here.
it's a soap opera.
No, yeah, exactly. And
I think it would have been better if instead of bringing back Harry Hart, they just had fucking Channing Tatum be his new mentor, and like instead of teaching him all the posh British shit, like teach him how to be an American. You
Yeah.
know, like he's joining up with the Statesmen. You know, give him a crash course on being an American, because why not? Like
Yeah.
that'd be more fun.
So I think we
than
should talk about
freezing
other-
his character.
other parts of this movie, because I'll just fucking
Well,
keep going on about this.
I think I need to say
All right.
that I actually fucking loved this movie.
Okay, all right.
I was invested from the very beginning. I loved almost every moment. I think I've never seen a film in IMAX where there's vagina cam.
Oh
where we
yeah,
go inside
let's talk
a
about the
woman's
vagina. Cam real quick.
Amazing.
Monkey, if a hungry skeleton came up to you and said, oh god, what the fuck does she even say? Something about a crow burying or...
Yeah, she has a spirit animal.
Yeah, yeah. So she said, "I'm a jaguar. Stick your hand up my vagina." You do it.
Yeah.
You'd say, "Thank you, hungry
Hell yeah.
skeleton."
I thought that the relationship between Eggsy and the princess was really good. It like broke the the standard Bond formula of, oh, there's a different girl every movie, and they're like, fuck that. Like the random bitch who he fucked in the ass at the end of the last movie, now he's getting married to her. So there
like,
you go. Like it was very unexpected, and I liked it.
I like that subversion that, like, you think that, like, at the end of that movie, she offers him, "Oh, I'll let you fuck me in the ass."
Yeah.
I like the subversion that they're now in a serious relationship with each other. But
Yeah.
I just don't understand why Eggsy is in the relationship in the first place and why he's, like, considering marrying her just because. Like a lot of
it seems like they really like each other.
yeah, a lot of the parts of the movie, basically, it becomes will he cheat on her? Is she okay with him doing that, because that's kind of part of the job that he has to do, and I think that's played for drama. All right.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of little subplots plucked into the movie. I guess plucked would be the opposite word. Forced into the movie. And I think that the relationship drama of, oh man, I have to save the world by fingering this bitch. Oh, you got a problem with that? Oh man, now we're breaking up. I thought that was a little dumb.
But like my problem with that is basically like that he does that, and then it doesn't show up in the movie until like an hour later. It felt like him fingering the woman was not some key part of anything. It's just basically later on it helped to know where she was, but they very easily could have found her another way. Like. It doesn't seem like that was vital, because they just forget about it for fucking half an hour to an hour.
Yeah, surely they could have like started tracking her without
literally anything. It doesn't matter.
Like Eggsy even says that he knows where she is because he follows her on Instagram.
Yeah.
So why not just like track her phone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the simple thing, but because the movie wants to be crass, which is fine. That's what the Kingsman movies are going to be. I don't have a problem with that, but it basically doesn't make a story sense to me. If there was a real reason to get up in her vagina, sure, I understand that. There doesn't seem to be one.
They wanted a reason to give us vagina vision, where we actually see the inside membranes of this woman's vagina, and a little beeping thing go into her bloodstream. And, I mean, I can't knock them for that. I've never seen that in a movie before. These Kingsman movies consistently show me things I never thought I would see on a screen in public.
And so many parts of this movie, it just becomes, oh, this is a cartoon in live action, when they've got robot dogs that are... part of the henchwoman's and that's another thing to me is the last movie had a great kind of henchman person with Sofia Boutella, who's now like a decent actress who's got her own shit. But like the blade leg woman, like that was the huge cool,
that was really cool
Bond villain type thing for that movie. And in this movie, they basically seem to think, let's just do that again, but more. So we've got a guy with a robot arm, and like.
Which was really cool.
It was cool, but I just feel like you give somebody a robot arm, and then you give somebody the ability to hack into a robot arm. Why didn't they have like a punching yourself gag, or why don't they make him fight the dogs or something with the robot arm, because they can control it?
If he can hack into anything with a microchip, why didn't he just hack the dogs?
Yes! Like... Don't
I don't know.
Be so stupid as to say anything with a microchip and then have fucking robot dogs there. Like, there's just so many little things that they just didn't think about or get right. And it just seems lazy to me. It just seems, let's do the most obvious, dumb Kingsman thing while still being a Kingsman movie. It just felt cheap to me.
Yeah, speaking of laziness with the villains, I want to talk about the motivation of the two villains in the two Kingsman movies. Because the weird thing is, the motivation in the second one, and like the satire that they're going for, is clearly less clever and more lazy than the first one, but I still really, really liked it, and I thought like, it was so on the nose of like what they're trying to tell us about the war on drugs, that it worked perfectly for me.
Yeah.
Pretty much in the first movie, it's about like global warming and And the thing about these movies is they're really good at making, at least for me, making the big bad guy have an idea or like a philosophy that I actually completely like agree with in a way. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Samuel L. Jackson is right. We are a fucking, you know, plague on Earth and we're killing it. I don't agree that we should all die for it,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know, he has a point. This movie, I don't, other than like turning people into hamburgers, I don't think that what's her name?
Julianne Moore, I don't know what the fuck her character is
Yeah,
called.
I don't think Julianne Moore's character did anything wrong other than hold people hostage because she's completely right. Like her whole thing is end the war on drugs. Like, you know, it's not like she wants to have the monopoly anymore. She's
Yeah.
straight up saying, "Hey, US government, let's
Tax
regulate
it,
these drugs.
Regulate it, yeah.
People are going to do these drugs no matter what. Let's make it safer by regulating it and,
Yeah.
and stop throwing people into prison for fucking 30 years. I just saw on Reddit this morning, a 77-year-old man just got 10 years in prison for growing marijuana plants.
Goddamn.
Like, what in the fuck? So, like, the idea in this movie that the government is okay, pretty much Julianne Moore, she drugs all of her drugs so that if you're taking drugs, you're poisoned and you're going to die. And she's holding them all hostage with an antidote, saying, "Hey, U.S. government, do what I say, or else they're all going to die."
And the president's
the president just says, he's like, "Well, hell yeah, let them all die. Fuck the druggies. If you do drugs, you're a criminal. You deserve to die."
Yeah.
And like, as you know, on the nose as that is, it's not too far off from how the actual administrations seem to consider. Because
Yeah.
like throwing somebody in prison for 20 or 30 years for doing drugs, how's that any different from like just letting them die? Like I would rather be dead than in prison for experimenting with like pot or like, you know, doing meth once. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. And basically, she is very upset that she is the most successful kind of businesswoman in her sphere, but because
In the world.
her particular thing is illegal, she kind of has to live underground and not really be one of the big guys. Like, basically,
Yeah.
she is being marginalized because her trade is illegal. And, like, she makes the point that, like, sugar is way more addictive than cocaine and shit like that.
And she's
like,
right.
she's
totally
totally right.
And
She's
it's
totally
more
right.
deadly too.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I like the social point that she's bringing up and that the movie is trying to persuade people. Basically, like, drug users, is it great to do drugs? No. But fucking people are going to do bad things, and you have to let them find their own way and not fucking demonize them at all times for doing that, because, I mean, there are people who use drugs for very good reasons. There are people who use drugs for very bad reasons. We're all addicted to something, some worse than others. It's just... that's the fucking human condition. What are you gonna do about it? But for me, Julianne Moore, like, I like her as an actress. She just didn't bring the same kind of joie de vivre to the character that, like, Samuel L. Jackson with a lisp can do.
Yeah, that's
Hilariously.
true.
And I mean, like, it's just weird. She's got a fucking, like, an ancient ruins fucking changed into 50s diner shit. Like, I just didn't know what I was
cool,
looking
dude.
at anymore.
It was cool.
It just becomes a hodgepodge.
The three ways that this movie succeeds for me
Mm-hmm.
are, number one, the social and political satire, even though it's like almost lazy in the writing because they're just like pretty much preaching at you exactly what you should take away from it. I thought it was very funny for one, and a message that I could agree with. Two, I love these characters. This is mostly credit to the first movie for, you know, introducing and establishing these characters, but I think the characters stay just as strong in this one. I was disappointed that they brought back Harry Hart, but, you know, once he was there, I was glad he was, because like the scenes when they're trying to break through to him, and then when they eventually do, I almost choked up a little bit. That was pretty fucking
That's
emotional.
entirely from the first movie. Like, basically, they're just
exactly,
replaying...
but it's a sequel, and I just see when you're making a series of films like this, I see them more as like episodes in an overall story than like individual movies, like the Marvel movies, for example. So it's like I already know these characters. The second movie doesn't necessarily need to stand on its own for me because it's a sequel. And if you haven't seen the first movie, you're probably not going to get this movie anyway. So like it's a precursor for understanding it. Like I'm not going to go into Philosophy 201 and be like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, like, take Philosophy 101, you stupid cuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I love the characters in this movie. They stay just as strong. And what's the actor's name? Mark Strong? I think.
Mark Strong is Merlin. He's great.
Yeah, he's just as good as the first one, if not Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll move on. And the third thing was the action. You know, these movies are famous for their over-the-top, crazy, violent, gory, bizarre action. There's a car chase scene through the streets of London in the beginning of the movie, and there's a point where Eggsy is drifting through like 10 lanes of traffic perfectly, and it was really funny to me, and I thought it was really cool.
See, that first action sequence, I just want to talk about that. That worked for me, but I think at a certain point it just becomes too cartoony, so that I basically just know, oh, you're just basically showing me random cartoon graphics, essentially. It's no longer based in reality. Like, and I do love Matthew Vaughn's camera work, and it might be all in a CGI environment, but the way he's basically able to swoosh back and forth to like show you the best angle for an attack, and it's just constantly changing and everything, that's great. But it stops being real, and you can basically you can make a computer show me anything. So when he's drifting across entire lanes of traffic, that doesn't work for me. I'd rather see a real car stunt that is cool, and like even just do the miniature version of that in real life. Cool, awesome. But like the bigger you go in some ways, the less impressive it becomes. Like when you just know what's going on, when you know it's a computer, when you know like it didn't really happen, you can he can drift through 10 fucking lanes of traffic. He can drift through 100 lanes of traffic. It stops being impressive after a certain point for me.
Well, I mean, to be fair, E-Rich, I think that the first film was guilty of this as well. Like in the scene when they're skydiving for the training thing, like the last person to jump out of the plane jumps out a good 20 seconds after everybody else, and then somehow manages to like catch up to everybody midair.
You can do that though. If you choose to go faster than everyone else, you can do that.
Yeah, but the plane is moving pretty fucking fast. If you jump out 20 seconds later, you're going to be way farther away than everybody else.
All you got to do is, like, form your body into a way that makes you more aerodynamic.
Well, then all you have to do is be good at drifting cars. Like, at this point, Eggsy's a professional spy. He knows what he's doing. He's like, this is the second movie. Like, we can at least, suspend our disbelief and understand, like, oh, he's, like, fucking skilled and really good at this shit. So, of course he can drift through all these cars in traffic. Like, why not?
So I think my main problem becomes the second, I think, big action piece is when they're in the fucking, it's like a ski lodge thing that takes you up and down. They're basically stuck in one of those and
it's spinning really
going
fast.
down a hill, and they're spinning really fast. To me, there's almost nothing to that scene. Like, it's
you didn't
two
like it
CGI
when they're about to
stuck in
they're
a
going
CGI
to crash
environment,
into
and like basically
they
they can't do anything
people.
about it. Like, all they do eventually is like get themselves out by circling around the fucking glass thing. Like basically the characters have no real stake in what's going on. They're basically on a roller coaster ride, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me.
There were stakes. There were totally stakes. They were about to crash and kill all those old people, and then they found a way to both stop themselves and save the old people.
Fuck the old people, monkey. Like, if this
But
movie...
then we got the funniest line in the movie where the old guy says that he had the best shit he'd taken in 3 weeks, and
if this movie had that hockey puck thing barge right through that retirement home, and that guy had said the same exact thing, nothing would have changed about this movie.
Those people would be dead. He wouldn't be able to say it.
This movie kills off tons of people, and we like laugh and cheer. It shows that
the characters in the puck are heroes and that they want to protect and save people. I had no problem with that. I thought that scene was great.
Yeah, and I mean, like at the very end, they try to do the Freebird thing again by playing Bird.
They play Saturday by.
Oh, right? No, that's the assault on the place, but they also play Bird is the Word as they're fighting whiskey. I won't say anything other than just whiskey, but...
Yeah, no moment in the movie matched the glory of the Westboro Baptist Church scene in the first one. I was hoping that they would try to do it again in a good way. If they were actually trying, and it wasn't just like a similar type of scene, if they were actually trying, I think they failed. But, like, nothing can live up to that. I wish that they could do something that good again, but like the surprise is gone. Now we're expecting it. It's not going to pop out of nowhere. So yeah, that's a problem when your first movie is so good and unexpected. Like, it's hard to live up to that and still surprise people. So I was very pleased with Kingsman 2 for what it was, and I think it's a great addition to the universe, and I can't wait to see the Chinese Kingsman in the third one, or the Australian one, or whoever's going to be in it. I think it'll be great.
Australian Kingsman, they've got like boomerangs and like they ride in kangaroos. Oh, I can't
I'm
wait.
expecting Mark Strong to show up with 2 robot legs at some point.
Yeah,
I guess,
no,
like,
exactly.
The Chinese Kingsman saved him.
He's only a quarter of himself because
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, well, hey, that's it. You hated it, I loved it. What do you know?
Just like Rotten Tomatoes, that gives us a perfect 50%.
Yeah, the middling score was perfect after all. I shit on Rotten Tomatoes, but they were right.
Yeah, that's how it works.
What do you know? Well, shit, E-Rich, would you say Kingsman 2, The Golden Compass, is it Kino?
I would not say it's Kino. I think people who liked the first one, but just liked the first one, I think you'll be perfectly entertained by this. But like my problem was I really loved the first movie, and I can't see this. I can't see this, but as anything but like a kind of just cheap knockoff version of that doesn't add anything interesting to the characters enough to make this a worthy sequel, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not Kino either because I don't know which Kino it would be. Like I love the movie, but it's not Kino.
Mark Millar.
Everybody at home, figure out what Kino is.
Yeah, that's your homework.
What are we gonna see next? Do you want to go see the Boston bombing movie with Jake Gyllenhaal that has like a 95%?
Oh shit!
Do you want to see,
I didn't even know that had Gyllenhaal in it.
Yeah. Do you want to see Lego Ninjago that has like a 45%?
Fuck that. I thought there was something. No, I guess I was thinking about fucking Kingsman.
We can go see Brad's Status and get like 50 views on the video.
Oh yeah, you'll make 2 cents from that. What the fuck? There was some movie I was looking forward to that's coming out in 2 weeks maybe, but I'll see anything really. I don't give a shit. We've got movie pass.
Yeah, we got movie passes, baby. What can we do to get the show sponsored by Movie Pass?
That's a good question.
I want to do it.
Can you get your viewers private information?
Yeah, that's all Movie Pass is good for.
That. Yeah,
right. If they made us a deal, like we'll give you 1 month of free Movie Pass, like a $10 value in exchange for shilling the fuck out of our service for 5 minutes per episode, would you do it?
Yeah, totally.
Of course we would do it. Of course we would.
10 minutes of my time? That's not worth nothing.
No.
Movie Pass is getting fucked.
Hell yeah. Okay, everybody. Yeah, there's Is It Kino. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.